Various choices in life sometimes make us have to be more assertive in making decisions. But in determining the decision is not as easy as turning the palm. In life we often experience making a choice. Sometimes we are cornered in problems and faced with a choice that is not. In life we often experience making a choice. Sometimes we are cornered in problems and faced with a choice that is not easy to determine. It usually requires careful consideration first, to determine the choice so as not to be wrong in determining which things we should choose. Moreover, if the decision that must be determined is a different decision, it is touched again if the decision affects the lives of others. When a person is faced with a panic situation, usually the person needs advice and input from people who trusted. Anyway, when it comes barangay advice from trusted people is not the easier in determining it. Instead, the more it makes us more stuck in making choices, even it triggers the emergence of doubt in the heart, and the more we doubt the further we are faced with the right choice. Then, how do you get rid of doubts in making that decision? Of course, it can cause a big problem that raises anxiety and depression. This is very dangerous for the soul and body of a person when cornered on this issue. Therefore, doubt should be avoided because self-doubt is very destructive and can hinder a person to marry success. To keep that from happening, you should try to think optimistically, not pessimistically. Change the negative words that exist in our minds. For example, difficult words turn into easy words. Words are not capable of foxes to be able, cannot be able to be. Impossible is possible, and so on. Of course, by getting used to optimistic thinking, this will have a good effect and can facilitate various things in determining anything. One simple practice that can help become more confident is to often train yourself to often try to solve various problems in everyday life, ranging from the smallest things to the big things, to get used to doing it. There is a saying that the biggest enemy is yourself, so do not fall by our own thoughts. Because of the doubts that arise in us, it is because of the weakness of our own minds that cannot or are lazy to fight against ourselves. Unlike the case for people whose confidence is very high, the person tends to have a definite gaze, firm, and will never hesitate because of mature considerations, of course. Anyone can do this, by training themselves to be a tough person, by trying to train themselves to do considerations and practice solving problems within us, starting from small things to big things. When we are in an atmosphere of doubt, calm your mind until you really feel calm, and never get used to yourself to quickly make decisions without mature considerations. Instill good confidence, or in other words, we must first believe in ourselves before others first believe in ourselves. For example, when we tend to compare ourselves to others on social media, or others do so in order to reduce the use of social media on certain days of the week. Look at it as if you were recharging your confidence batteries. However, if your work involves social media, it is better to focus on work without thinking about or comparing you to others. There are many negative stories and beautiful, albeit fake, lives on social media. Ask yourself if the story or picture is worth it to yourself. Does it increase or decrease the positive thinking process? If it's annoying, ignore it. Remember, when someone wants to be successful, goals are important in achieving that success. From now on, try to start writing down the purpose of your desire. Do not worry about writing bad things or other people's words that are not panatas to write. Remember that writing makes you more confident to achieve dreams. And the most important thing in trying, someone must have a clear and well-planned goal. One thing we must make the basis in an effort to overcome when in doubt is not to worry too much over doubts in yourself. Doubt does not deserve to take over or determine the direction of the future. Convince yourself. Lock your heart and mind to accept things that result in bad, by getting used to thinking positively about things and trying as much as possible in undergoing the journey that we are or will face.